can't believe I'm reviewing this little rat. Just kidding. I absolutely adore Paru-Gama. It was actually quite pleasant to hear that it had shot up in price. And to all of you watching, it is definitely worth the mush. Aside from being absolutely adorable and a menace to society, Paru-Gama has quite a bit going for it. If I recall correctly, it used to be a solid 3 to 4K mush, and even then people were stingy about selling it. Nowadays, you'll only find them going anywhere from 16 to 25K mush. I'm sure the Paru-Gama collectors are dancing in mush and absolutely loving it right now. As you can imagine, I have a fondness for Paru-Gama, especially since it was the creature I did my first video on. Granted, at that point, Paru-Gama was objectively stronger. The 2 defensive poison it has now was actually 2 offensive poison, and concerning how aggressive my playstyle is, you can only imagine how much I enjoyed that. So, after the nerf, has Paru-Gama fallen from grace? Is it worthless now? No, in fact, in certain scenarios, it's arguably stronger. Realistically, Paru-Gama's poison should have always been defensive. It plays into Reflect so absurdly well, and the vast majority of people I talk to can't even imagine it being otherwise. In terms of PvP, Paru-Gama is very nuanced. I've obviously already done a full video on the matter, so feel free to go take a peek at it if you can stand some slightly lower quality footage and voiceovers. That said, I'm more than happy to sum up how it has changed and what the dance, or so I have called it, has become. In essence, Paru-Gama is an ailment stacker, but one that you need to be aggressive with, as your opponent not laying down is critical to winning. With the changes to Poison Area, the worst thing you can do is let your opponent lay down and get rid of what you've worked so hard to stack. Its damage is not exceptional, but it's enough to encourage the person you're fighting to continue doing so or be continually chomped on. You also need to use your Reflect properly. I would actually discourage opening with Reflect, as it isn't terribly effective when people are expecting it. Try to mix your opponent up as much as possible, or use it when they're on their last breath in order to finalize the kill while they can't fight back. For the sake of showcasing how to fight as Paru-Gama, I've cut to a rather hard matchup. You'll notice that I'm very strategic when it comes to killing this Boreal. Understanding that Boreals are entirely immune to ailments past 50% of their HP, I take the time to use Poison Area without biting, the only times I do being to keep it combat locked. You'll also notice that I become extremely aggressive when the Boreal is just nearing ailment immunity to ensure I get as many as possible. And after it drops below 50%, I'm still biting, but I have the opportunity to play far safer and just ensure that it doesn't lay down. The damage it's taking from both poison and burn far outweighs the raw damage I'm dealing through attacks. Another note, this is when I begin to use Reflect, seeing as the Boreal is doing maximum damage to me, and by the same logic, the maximum damage to itself. Now that you've seen how to fight a Boreal, you should be able to apply the same concepts to most creatures. The only exception to these guidelines are creatures with a mass amount of defensive ailments. Paru-Gama struggles to kill these creatures if even able to at all, so I would recommend leaving them alone. It gets to a point that you and your opponent will both lay down for the likes of ailments, and you can't apply enough pressure to finish the fight. If you really do need to kill a creature with defensive ailments, the best advice I can give is to abuse Poison Area's low cooldown and try to keep them moving whilst not biting them terribly often. In terms of plushes and traits, there's basically a bucket of options. Either 2 pig lanterns, 2 cats, or a combination of both. I personally choose pig lanterns because both burn and poison are percentage-based damage, while bleed is an undetermined flat damage value that I don't quite trust. As for traits, you'll all know that I'm addicted to the health trait, especially on Paru-Gama concerning you want to stay topped up. Otherwise, one of Paru-Gama's biggest downsides is its takeoff stamina requirement and the smaller max stamina value it has. Either of the stamina traits will make your life much easier when it comes to balancing your stamina with aggression. Getting to the actual rating of Paru-Gama, it's difficult to put it above or below another creature because it depends on both how you utilize it and, almost more importantly, how your opponent fares against it. That said, in my opinion, Paru-Gama should receive at worst a solid 7 in terms of combat. Given the right playstyle, you can start killing Boreals with relative ease, and that's not a quality many creatures can achieve. I don't regularly see Paru-Gama in my servers, but when I play it, I very frequently get comments of Paru-Gama is OP or Paru-Gama players SMH, which should go to show just how much difference there is between the skill floor and skill ceiling. In conclusion, is Paru-Gama worth upwards of 20k mush? 100%, yes. It is fantastic and extremely versatile. Keen observer aside, I didn't even have adequate time to talk about the likes of Healing Breath. You'll be a powerful asset to your team just as much as you are a solo powerhouse. Thank you as always for watching to the end. If you felt the video was at all informative, drop a like. If you want to see more reviews and high quality content, subscribe to the channel. I'm really glad you guys are enjoying the videos, and I hope to continue doing reviews on the creatures you all want. Feel free to leave any suggestions below for the next video. Bye for now, everyone!